Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday, December 9th, 2014's edition of Jenny's Getting It Right series. I am recording from my house in Steubenville, Ohio. On tonight's episode, we will be discussing the threat, opportunities, and recommendations of three popular trends we are seeing within the education system. They are school safety, Common Core, and the accountability and evaluation of teachers. I know that what you are saying or thinking to yourself that those are not no-brainers. I know I have it right when I am speaking about those trends. Do you have all your facts correct though? Let's see if you do, or if your mind will be changed by the end of this edition. School safety. We have heard and unfortunately have seen many school shootings over the past 10 years. School safety weighs on the minds of many parents. As a parent and a teacher, it weighs on my mind many times throughout the school year as to how I will protect my students and is my son safe during the school day. The particular building in which I teach has locking doors in which, in order to get in, you must buzz, state your name, and look into the camera in which the secretaries will let you in. Our high school, however, has outside portables in which people can come and go as they please. It should be noted that the high school was built in the 50s. According to the Phi Delta Kappa poll, Americans do not want guns in schools. By a margin of almost 2-to-1, Americans support increasing mental health services rather than hiring more security guards to promote school safety. Most Americans reject arming teachers and administrators, but they do support screening procedures for visitors to elementary, middle, and high schools, similar to those used in the government buildings. Would I say that our school district is safe? No, let's look further into these threats. What exactly are the safety threats in our school district? First, as previously stated, our high school is an open campus in which the students must go outside in order to change classes. This provides a multitude of opportunities for bad things to happen. None of our buildings have metal detectors. I can honestly state that a student at the middle school brought a knife to school last week. Did he mean to hurt someone? I am unsure. However, he did enter onto campus with a knife. My particular building has people who are not even hired by the school district in the building. They rent out the portables to the county program called Help Me Grow, in which these personnel walk in our hallways every day. I am going to group opportunities and recommendations or strategies together for this third trend because I feel that in this case they go hand in hand. Since school safety has become a trend, many good things have been taking place. An example would be the ALICE training that is taking place within the state in our building. Also, we have been having mock lockdown drills where the police department comes in and we have to get our students out safely as possible rather than be a sitting duck. These actions are taking place now because no one knows when something unruly may occur within your district. I would also like to see metal detectors placed at the entrance of every building. And lastly, I would like to see the taxpayers understand the importance of a new high school, not just for educational reasons, but also safety reasons. Now, how does the public feel about the new Learning Common Core standards? According to the Common Core Standards homepage, the Common Core standards were first implemented in 2009 by state leaders, including governors and state commissioners and educators from 48 states, 2 territories, and the District of Columbia. Through their membership in the National Governors Association Center for Best Practices and the Council of Chief State Schools Officers, state school chiefs and governors recognized the value of consistent real-world settings, learning goals, and launched this effort to ensure that all students, regardless of where they live, are graduating high school prepared for college, career, and life. This trend affects education on a multitude of levels, from needing a new curriculum that is aligned with these standards to also needing training with exactly how to implement these standards into the classroom setting. I think we have heard more threats than opportunities about the Common Core standards. What are the true threats? After reviewing the Common Core homepage and reviewing the myths and facts, I have found the true threats of the Common Core. The perceived threats are that the Common Core is dumbing down our students. They include skills only and not content knowledge. Math is all messed and taught at wrong times. Reading standards are just vague descriptions of skills, not content, and many others. Again, you can go to thecorestandards.org and look at the myths and facts to find out how all those are myths. I want to really get into the real threat of the Common Core. First, with the states having to change standards, they must also change testing, which is a multi-million-dollar business. Again, I find this to be taking away more money from the school district and thus the students and teachers. Also, when the states do adopt these standards, the districts then must purchase a new reading and math curriculum, again, money that the district does not have due to government cuts in education, thus making it up to the teachers to pool and find their own resources in order to meet these new standards. Another threat is that since changing over to these new standards, there is a gap in the students' learning. Things that were supposed to be mastered at certain grade levels were not because they were taught at later grade levels than the student was in. Thus, the students are not learning specific standards at all. Have you heard any good opportunities that have come out of the Common Core? If not, I shall enlighten you with a few that may help to change your perception of the Common Core standards. Did you know that according to the Common Core homepage that the standards are aligned with the international standards, also known as the PISA test? You know, that test that shows that America is ranked 26th out of the whole world. Did you know that when the states adopt the Common Core standards, they are all the same. So if a student moves from West Virginia to Ohio or vice versa, they will still be learning those same core standards. Think about how many students transfer to your building throughout the school year. These are just some of the very important opportunities that take place if your state adopts the Common Core standards. Since the state of Ohio has adopted the new learning standards, our district has started to make the change. We have bought a new math series that align with the Common Core standards. I would like to say that since buying the series, I have thought some of the topics and verbiage to be too extensive for the students, but since implementing in September, I have found that they have grown since adopting this series. As for our reading series, I feel our district needs to adopt a series that aligns to the Common Core curriculum. Also, as for how to pay for it, I feel that if they do not find a way to pay for it, we shall lose more students because the students will not be prepared to take the test, which thus will affect our report card and we will look poorer than it already is. And when the community looks at it, they will pool their students and put them in other districts that do have the curriculum. I feel that it needs to be implemented now since the state testing is changing this year and our students will be exposed to it. Our last topic tonight will be about accountability of teachers and their evaluation system. Being a teacher, I will try to keep my biased opinion out of this discussion, but again, I am a teacher. First, I should explain exactly what I mean by accountability and evaluation of teachers. In the state of Ohio and many other states, we have decided to hold teachers accountable for their students' learning. The data that is used to tell if a teacher is performing and doing their job are the state standardized tests, vendor-approved assessments, and also SLOs, or student learning objectives, which are constructed by the teachers themselves. These assessments are used to show that all students in that particular teacher's class are showing at least a year's worth of growth. If a teacher is not showing growth, then their scores will be lower. The student's growth only counts towards 50% of that particular teacher's evaluation, while the other 50% comes through the teacher's evaluation done by the administration. The principal will do a series of informal walkthroughs and also formal evaluations throughout the year. Teachers are given a rubric as to what the administration is looking for. The two scores, both students' growth and teacher evaluation, are then combined to tell what the teacher's performance is. When it comes to laying off teachers, some districts have placed this into their contracts that those who are poor performing will go first, and it's not based upon how many years served. You are thinking to yourself, what exactly are the threats of evaluating a teacher? The main threat of evaluating a teacher is that they can lose their job if their students do not perform. And you are saying to yourself, well, if the students didn't perform on the test, it's because the teacher didn't do their job. You are not agreeing with the other 60% of Americans who took the annual Phi Delta Kappa poll. They stated that how teachers are evaluated is an important component to teachers' quality. So it's not surprising that Americans have opinions about teachers' appraisal. A plan popular among some states and federal policymakers uses student standardized test results as a significant component in evaluating teachers, in some places compromising up to 50% of the evaluation. However, more than 60% of Americans do not support this approach, and their opposition is trending upward. These standardized tests that are counting towards the teacher's evaluation are based upon just that, a standardized test that is given on one day. They do not take into consideration what might have happened to that student that day or in the prior days. They do not take into consideration that perhaps the student is not a test taker, but can orally explain every answer. This is where the validity of the test is not there. Yet 50% of the teacher's evaluation is based upon this. Not only their evaluation, but their job. What opportunities can come from teachers' evaluation? From the teachers' evaluation, the teachers are able to make professional growth plans that can help them become not stagnant in their field. They can also work with mentors or collaborators with others within the building so that all students are growing, and we are looking at these students as a group goal so that it is not based upon what one person can do in a year, but what everyone is doing every year. It also helps to show those who are lacking in certain areas, perhaps needs more higher quality professional development. According to the Phi Delta Kappa poll, at the same time, Americans said they believe teacher evaluation should be primarily designed to help teachers improve their ability to teach. If we listen carefully to the opinions of Americans, we need to research better ways to evaluate teachers and principals that are not overly reliant upon how students perform on standardized tests. Maybe Americans do have it right. So what do I recommend? I recommend that teachers do be held accountable for their students' learning. However, I also believe that teachers need to be smart and write SLOs in any subject that they are able to do, because it helps to take some of the percentages away from standardized test scores. Also, I believe that if a teacher is not found to be proficient, then I feel that this is partially the district's fault. They need to provide higher quality professional development for staff so that in turn their staff are meeting the needs of their students. I feel that if the district and teachers are doing what is as asked of them, there is not a reason for them to not be found skilled or proficient. Again, I feel that these actions need to be implemented now, since actions against teachers are taking place now. So what are your thoughts and have your thoughts and perceptions changed about any of the trends discussed tonight? Remember to educate yourself before stating the facts. Other teachers, educators, parents, and the community are listening and listening to you to find out what you have to say. They find you to be educated and to know it all. So remember to always educate yourself. Thank you for listening and have a great evening. This is Jenny Pawelczyks signing off.